Hey guys, Thrill7 here. Now, before I get into the video, I would like to apologize for the poor camera quality. Just putting that out there. Yeah, I'm going to be showing you my 5 tips on writer's block. Now, I feel like as a writer, we've kind of all been through writer's block at some point. Maybe major writer's block or minor writer's block. I feel like there's this entire spectrum of writer's block that kind of like determines how strong and how not as strong as it is. Even when writing my book Amazing Days, which I've made a couple writing vlogs about, I have had a couple points where I wasn't really sure what to do with the story. Well, I mean, I knew what was going to happen next, but I just wasn't sure how to execute it. And I think that's the problem that I have the most with writer's block is execution. I usually plan out pretty early on, maybe not before I start writing, but pretty early on in the story. I already know how it's going to end, and I already know all the stuff that's going to happen. However, executing it is a lot more difficult than it seems, which can cause writer's block for not only me, but for a lot of other people. So I want to make this video to help others get through that. And I will admit, I have not been writing for very long. I'm only 16 years old. I didn't write my first story until I was about 9, and I didn't really start writing seriously until I was about 13. So there's still a lot of things that I need to work on myself and that I need to improve. But from what I've learned in my few years, these are the best tips that I can give to you. So, my first tip is to understand that writer's block is temporary. Sometimes writer's block feels so strong that it may be forever. Like, oh, well, maybe writing's not my thing. But if you have a creative mind, you can get out of it. It just takes time and it takes effort. And just understanding that it will go away will increase your motivation to get out of it. So, that is the first tip that I can give you. My second tip, is that if you do feel very stressed with trying to write something and you've been writing every day for hours, maybe you should take a break. Now, make sure your break is not too long because if you do, you'll feel like you're writing a story that isn't even yours. I kind of did that myself. I wrote a story. Um, I think it was back in April. I wrote a screenplay and I really enjoy writing it a lot. However, after that, I kind of stopped writing frequently. I might have wrote a flash fiction or two over the summer, but with work and everything, I just kind of lost that motivation. And I had other interests too, so I was kind of in a writing rut. So it wasn't even really that I was blocked; it's just that I wasn't really trying. So when I actually got back to it, writing was hard because, I had to use more brain power that I hadn't used in a while, and I lost a lot of previous knowledge. So yeah, take a break, but I wouldn't recommend more than a week or two because you're just gonna get lost after that. So yeah, that's number three or number two. Number three is if your story really is not working out well, you don't have to finish it. Now, that one problem that I've had is that every time I write a story, even if I'm not super passionate about it, my mind will be like, well, I've already started it. I've already gotten this far, however long it is. So I've got to finish it. However, if you have no more passion for it at all and you have no more creative ideas for it, then you might as well drop it and try to write something new. And once you find that story and once you find that topic that really resonates with you, then I think writer's block will just become a term at that point. So yeah, try something new and see what really fits your style. So, yeah, that's number three. Number four, don't overwrite. Now, I've realized when I was writing Amazing Days, part of the reason why I got blocked, and when I mean by blocked, I mean I got blocked for like a few days and then came back to it. But the reason why I've had those periods is because I um I went too heavy into my writing, into my enjoyment of it. Now, typically, I write about 1,000 to 2,000 words a day, especially if I have, a good amount of time with free time in school and, so I can get some of that done too. So yeah, about 1,000, 2,000, I think is a pretty good goal. However, there were some days where I would write at least 4,000 words, which is about 1.5 spacing the spacing I use. That's about 10 pages. Not even almost, probably a little bit over 10 pages. And I would not recommend that because you are overstimulating your brain. And then the next day, you don't really want to write anything because you spend so much time in that. So give your brain a break and don't write too much because that will cause or can cause writer's blocks. Yeah, that is number 4. Please, please do not overwrite. Um, and coming in at number 5, the last one, and I know this is kind of just a recap of everything I said, the last 4, but you gotta try. You gotta put in the work. You gotta make sure that you're not letting this writer's block really get a hold of you because writer's block is kind of just an excuse for not really putting the effort into your passion. And I think that if you are a very dedicated writer, you can really anyone can get out of it. So yeah, just put in the work, try hard, and I think that's a great way of getting rid of that. So yeah, anyway, that was just my 5 tip video on writer's block. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this was helpful for any of you guys who are interested in writing, like I am, or who's also writing a novel, short story, or a novella, or something like that. So yeah, thank you guys so much. I'll see you later.